from time, time. And the reason I'm doing this is because after the debate was over, the first one is what we're talking about here. It felt universally like everyone was talking as if Vivek Ramaswamy won. I thought it was really interesting that they put him center stage for the debate, and he had like blown up all over my YouTube feed. I think maybe 2 weeks prior, I felt like all I was seeing was Ramaswamy everywhere. He did like something on YouTube with like Bill, the host, the guy,
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher. Thank you. Bill Maher has like a YouTube.
Yeah, you like him. Yeah, I used to
Oh
watch
no,
him.
no, don't do that to me. Don't put me in the no. I maybe when I was a young kid, I enjoyed Bill Maher. Bill Maher has not been something that I've been so keen on in the recent days, but that's not that's neither here nor there. All I'm saying is that he was on his like he
don't take the bait, Antoine. Don't take the bait.
I'm not exactly. He has like a little lounge show kind of thing on YouTube, or at least I watch it on YouTube. I don't know if it airs somewhere else, but and it's part of his podcast, so I guess it must be the visual for his podcast.
So just to be clear, Antoine does not like him. He just listens and follows on everything media outlet he has.
That's correct.
But he does not like him. I don't know where I got that idea from.
Well, I don't like any of his Instagram. I just because I peruse his portfolio doesn't mean that I engage. And by not engaging means that I hold a nice distance. I hold a ball, like a barrier to between myself and Mr. Maher. Anyway, all I'm saying is that Ramaswamy was everywhere, and I thought it was really funny that they had him center stage on the Republican debates stage, because obviously Trump's not going to be there. Trump wasn't there. He did his interview with the lovely gentleman who no longer works at Fox News, and one of the things Ramaswamy came out adamantly about, he said, climate change, it's a hoax. He was very, what do you call it? He was very bare-breasted about his feelings on in the old climate, and I mean, he was definitely doing things to be, what do you call it? Provocative, evocative. He was, he had to let them know that he's the new Trump. He's the new sheriff in town. That's sort of how I felt was going on with him in the debate. But anyway, Time magazine did a nice little article here. There's more than meets the eye to Ramaswamy's climate comment.
What did you think of Trump?
That's such a good. Yeah, I wish they had done that. I wish if there was an audio that the Megatron. I can't even do it. I can't remember how Megatron sounds. Like, what's his classic animation sound? Doesn't matter. But if you look it up, listener, it's going to be good. Vivek Ramaswamy, the entrepreneur turned politician, constructed his climate comment at last week's Republican debate very precisely. The climate agenda is a hoax, he said. The signals of climate change have become increasingly present. Think of the record-setting extreme heat and near-constant flooding, and leading Republicans can no longer feasibly deny that climate change is happening. Instead, the GOP has begun to accept that it is happening while rejecting solutions aimed at slowing it down. During the debate, Ramaswamy suggested that costs of addressing climate change were greater than the effect of climate change itself.
I'm curious to prove it. Where is your study? Where is your data? And how bad did it predict climate change could get? Both in any period of time, but also all-encompassing, whether it's our food supply, our housing, constantly rebuilding, degrading things at a faster rate, migrations of people because areas become uninhabitable, loss of biodiversity, which has a cascading effect. I don't know, like based on what? Like, anyone can say stuff. Anyone can say something. And the scientific community has been a real gem, and they have put out a ton of data for decades to say, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And now it's actually happening. So this dude comes in center stage in lieu of Trump and makes that claim based on what, Antoine?
Ramaswamy says the climate agenda is a hoax, and then followed up saying that the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. He concluded, arguing that the reality is more people are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of actual climate change.
You know what? When I'm on fire, throw the wet blanket on me. Please, throw the wet blanket on me.
That could be a bad policy.
Like,
What if the policy is one wet blanket per 5 people? That's a bad policy.
That's true. That's
right?
Not enough wet blankets to go around.
I will say this. He is being completely disingenuous. He is being a provocateur because that is what the new debate, that's what the new American political system requires in order for you to be to get your face on TV and for articles to be written about you, despite the fact that he had the least amount of political experience on that stage, and yet the majority of articles on the back of that debate are about him. I will say this. It is weird to say that. It almost feels like an oxymoron kind of thing. He says the reality is people are dying of bad climate change policies. And that's accurate. The thing is, I think we've talked about, like, I feel like we, in terms of our podcast, have discussed this.
I would say a lack of climate change policies.
Exactly.
I mean, when the best you can do,
right.
What we have today is coping with climate change policies. Like we are coming up with coping mechanisms. We are not addressing the root cause of anything. And I guess before I totally understand where you're going with that, but I guess what I would need, and I don't know if you have it from that article or if you know from hearing him, is what does he mean by that comment? Because he either means a lack of, which is what I agree with, which is what I think you agree with, but I'm not sure that's what he means, or he's saying that the policies themselves are hurting people, not by not addressing climate change, which is what we would think, but by being too strong-handed or over. What's the phrase I'm looking for?
Yeah, he's overbearing. I mean, he's of course he's alluding to too much government interference in terms of,
and that would hurt people, and that is just so far from the truth. In fact, not enough government, quote unquote, interference is how we got in this mess in the first place, by letting industry kind of do what it does best without any governance.